Thank you very much for giving me this great chance to talk to you. And today, I want to show you some images of my projects. I have been thinking about what should we design after industrialization, after 20th century, and after concrete and steel era. I got the many hint from disaster actually. We had a big earthquake, a tsunami 5 years ago, and I went to this city, Ishinomaki. This city was most devastated city. 60% of the city was totally destroyed. And I took this image by myself, and it was very, very shocking. And this city, but what surprised me is those small houses on the hill. Those small houses are not damaged at all by earthquake and tsunami. Why? Because every 60 and 70 years, they had earthquake and tsunami. And people became very wise, and they know the certain level. Above a certain level, they can survive. They could survive. But in 20th century, people forgot the lesson. The people became very arrogant. The concrete building, steel building, is still strong enough as an influence of nature. But that is a big mistake of 20th century. And it is very much related with smallness and the reason why I went to that city is I designed this small museum in that city. Actually, it is not easy to find the museum because I want to delete the building in the environment. This is the museum I designed. It is sit on the embankment of the river. The 2/3 of the building was buried in the embankment. And I want to create harmony with nature. And this is one of the oldest canal in Japan, and this museum is for the memory, the history of the canal. And the plan is very simple. The walkway and museum is a part of the walkway. And the section is a river and a town. And actually, tsunami hit that part of the building. And those houses were unfortunately destroyed by tsunami. But because of the sections, our building was not destroyed. But we are just lucky. This is a view to river from the building. And another project I did for up north area is this museum, Hiroshige Museum. Hiroshige is a very famous ukiyo-e artist in 19th century. As I did design that. And this hall, and material is of course very important for me, but this hall is very important. This hall. This is a mountain, and this is the village. This is village center. It's a typical layout of the village, and town in Japan. The people were living with the mountain. The mountain was very, very important for the people. So because the mountain, as a material of the buildings, all came from the mountain, and energy so also came from mountain. They didn't have gas company, electric companies, and as people totally relied on the mountain. And also agriculture, the fertilizer came from the mountain, and then always they made the village at the edge of the mountain. And they always built shrine at the edge, because the shrine has a strong message. If forget mountain, we cannot survive. That is a strong message. But in 20th century, sadly, they abandoned the mountain. They didn't use the material from the mountain. And Tokyo became most important place. And then the shrine was also abandoned. And in this village, the shrine became ruined. And the mayor of the village made the parking. And he asked me to design the museum in front of parking, and he asked me to design the entrance facing parking. But I said, no. This is American method, I said. If we make the entrance facing parking, again the people forget the mountain. And backside is just a backside of the machines and trash areas, that kind of things. So it's very, very bad. And then I cut the building like that, and that I want to connect town, a village, and mountain again, the human and nature again, and that is the goal of this project. And then go back to the whole. This is the whole, which is connecting nature and village. And this is the entrance from backside. No, this is not backside. This is, I think, this is the front side of the building. And as for the materials, I try to use local material as possible as can. And the smallness is important for the detail. And even for the wall, it's the rice paper from the products of the artisan of the village, and the quality is very close from this building. And that's kind of material. Mostly it came from this village. And the space making as method is layering. The very light screen is overlaying, create the layers of the spaces, which is also to connect human and nature. And this is Adobe. Professor Dodd experienced the clay. I also use the clay, the earth for the building. But this is in the small village again, but to use this Adobe method for the building is very exceptional in Japan. That method, Korea and China, they often use Adobe, but in Japan we have had wood, and then the wooden structure is a major method. But only in this village, it is very close to Korean peninsula, and the artisans from Korea came to Japan. And I like that story. Now the country, Korea and Japan, the country, it is not good. There's not good relation. But the exchange happened before. As I like that kind of cultural exchange, and I want to show that kind of cultural exchange to Japanese. But people, as a people already, forgot that Adobe construction method. And I explained them, so you had this very interesting system, and they are very surprised. And this is Adobe museum I designed for the village. And this is one of the national treasure. This wooden Buddha is made 12th century. And, but this building has no air conditioning, there's no machine. So it is very rare, because national treasure, the humidity and temperature should keep consistent. But as I did a research, and the thick Adobe block can control humidity and temperature, and then I could convince the Ministry of Culture not to use the air conditioning system. And this town, this is a community center for the small village. For this design, I worked with the craftsman who can make such a beautiful thatch roof. And the uniqueness of this building is the wall. We didn't use glass for the wall. We tried to avoid the glazing, because before 19th century, in Japan, we didn't have glass factory. The only rice papers was separating interior and exterior. And its system was perfectly working before 19th century, because we had the wooden sliding doors outside of rice papers, and if storm comes, if rain comes, the people close the building by the wooden sliding door. Rice papers and wood is a perfect system. But in 20th century, the glass factory came to Japan, so we forgot that system. But in this building, the double rice paper system, not double glazing, double rice paper system is controlling the temperature of the building. This is look from interior. The next material is bamboo. Bamboo grows very fast, but the bamboo was only used for the small products. I want to extend the possibility of bamboo, and we did use bamboo trunk for the formwork of concrete, injected concrete into bamboo trunk. And this is my first bamboo house. And the second bamboo building happened in China. So also in China, bamboo was very, very important as a plant. So we tried to avoid the cutting of the land. The building was following this unique landscape. And this kind of semi-outdoor space is also to connect nature and human. As people are drinking tea in this kind of connecting space. And wood, again, my idea is not using the big glue lamp, the beam or clamps. I want to use small element as possible to extend small element to the big scale. The smallness and bigness should be as a continuous. That is my idea. And also, if we can make the building by ourselves, the self-made building is strong building. Socially, it is very strong, I think. And the hint, I got the hint from the traditional toy. The toy is name of the toy is chidori. Chidori means that 1,000 birds. It looks like the 1,000 bird flying in the sky. This is a unique system of joint, and 3 types of joint. And first one, second one, third one, and the twist the second ones, and we can fix the joint. It's a very magical system. And so we worked with my student in Milan, and And the student made this pavilion in 5 days. It's a very good practice for them. And the next step, so we want to extend that system to the permanent building. My colleague, Professor Sato, tested this system. And his conclusion is 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters, the stakes are strong enough to support 10-meter building. This is a section of the building, and this is the completion of the building. So we could avoid column and beam system. The very small stakes can support the big building. Interior, and also this grid can be used for as a showcase. The ceiling. As a next step is create a bigger structure, as a bridge. But still, I want to choose a small unit as possible. So we did use the interior of the bridge as well. And in the same village, Yosohara, this is very south of Japan, we are asked to design the new hotel, new small hotel for the village. The village people are very proud of having these tea houses. They have 60 tea houses, and the people are, if they found a traveler, they serve tea in the tea house. Then thatch is very symbolic material for their hospitality, and then I did use thatch block for the facade of the building. So for the insulation, this is very good material. But to find artisan is very, very difficult in this period. And this is a very unique client for me. The Starbucks came to us. The Tenmangu, there's a temple, one of the oldest temples in Japan. This is a main approach to the temple. The location of the Starbucks is very unique, and I want to show that kind of small stakes technique to the visitor. And this is a very not easy system. So 30 degrees is a key of this detail, and it's a kind of artificial forest. And this is not decoration. This is not interior design. This system is supporting the building. This is a structural system. And so next is a cake shop in Tokyo. It's a pineapple cake shop. Yes. But structurally, it is more difficult. I worked with a craftsman, and they and us are discussing many times to create this system. This system is called hell joint. Because the hell joint, that means if we drop the hell, never can return. This joint is, if it is fixed, never take apart. And then the people, the cord that's the joint cisjointally is a hell joint. But that system is not easy system, and then traditionally, so we use this system for the furniture. Furniture is that kind of a strong joint is necessary. But for architecture, it is too complicated. But my artisan finds a way to extend that system to architectural design. This explains the hell joint. As that system, so we extend as France. And Tuileries Gardens, Tuileries Park, so we built for the temporary pavilion. So with French artisan, they did a perfect job for us, so we are very happy to work with them. And this is a new project, it's a chapel in the forest. The birch forest is beautiful in this district. So I want to use birch trunk for the structure of the chapel. This is a plan. Forest and the columns are very as a merging. And the roof is made by glass, and then we could delete the border between the exterior and interior. From above, we can see the shape of the building, but from the ground level, the border is disappeared. The moss is covering the floor, interior as well, and the benches are made by the transparent material, and the people can feel, so we are almost in the outside. And in center of Tokyo, I also would like to bring back wooden buildings. In front of the famous Sensoji Temple, I love that gallery very much because this is a one-story building. And it used to be as a one-story building covering this area. But in 20th century, those concrete boxes destroy the beautiful fabric of the city. We need to build 40 meters building, but my idea is 7 wooden houses stacking on each other. This is a rendering, so this is the reality of the building. So for each floor, this is the 5th floor, so this is a slope is following the slope of the roof and of the 4th floor, and each floor we can feel we are standing on the ground floor, on the ground. That feeling is very important. And even for the public building, we use the idea of doma. Doma is this is the typical farmer's house in Japan. So doma means earth floor. So this is earth, and this is a tatami and the wooden floors. But people like this kind of earth material, the warmness and humid, and the kitchen is here, and most of the life was happened in that kind of doma, earth floor. So I brought that idea to the city hall. It is earth floors and covered by wooden screens. And this is just a city hall, but people like to stay as time in this city hall. And the kids are coming to the city hall to do homework, and the elderly are coming to the city hall to meet with their friends. As we combine the contemporary technology, this is a ping pong table. The kids like to come here to play ping pong, and as a dancing group are using this space. And the most difficult people is the politicians. They don't like our idea. We try to create a transparency of the politics, but they said, as an assembly hall, it should be the top of the building, look down the people. It's very difficult to convince them. But finally, we could have a concert in the assembly hall. Rice papers in the snow is whiter, and then with this kind of snow rice paper, and also just design sofa by rice paper. And the farmers are still creating beautiful silk, so we did use this silk for the counter. And even the influence in different contexts, we try to adapt that method. Respect nature, the imposition. This is a site. This is a site was a kind of abandoned area, facing beautiful river, but as people didn't want to walk along this area. And my idea is reconnect city and nature by cutting the building like that. The same method as Hiroshige Museum. As a waterfront and city front, so we did redesign. And the local material, in that case, it is a birch from the mountain. The whole is a connecting city and nature, again, inviting people to nature. This kind of design. The effect of light is I like the effect of light. The porosity of the facade is creating the effect. And this is a new Olympic stadium. So we are designing the new Olympic stadium. The Olympic stadium is very important for myself personally. The 1964, so we had the first Olympic, Tokyo Olympic. And Kenzo Tange designed a beautiful gymnasium. Probably you know that beautiful gymnasium. It's a symbol of the period of concrete. It's a beautiful concrete building with curvatures. So when I'm at the age of 10, at that time, my father brought me to the Olympics, the gymnasium by Tange. And I was so shocked. What a beautiful building. And then at that time, on that day, I decided to become architect. And after that, Kenzo Tange was my hero. For 2020 Olympic, I think the wood is appropriate material, not concrete. And also the small sticks of wood is creating the building for facade and also for the structure. Not every structure is a composite structure system. And I got a hint from this, the temple. This is oldest wooden building in the world. It was built 7th century. But still, the building was not burned. It is existing. It's amazing because of this section. This the series of roof eaves are protecting wood. And good thing for wood is if the unit was damaged, we can replace easily. But concrete, it is difficult. And then for that building, some part was, of course, was replaced, but the building was surviving after 7th century. And also the shrine close to the stadium is also the same section. Layers of roof protecting wood. And this is the interiors. We did a simulation of wind. And this is a walkway on the sky. And we bring back the creek. In 20th century, people buried the creek, but we recover try to recreate the creek. And in China, Wang Shu, you know Wang Shu. The Wang Shu invited me to the museum for his university. The Wang Shu did use brick. On the contrary, I wanted to use the roof tile, roof ceramic tile. In China, it's a beautiful material. And also, it's a medium-sized museum, but I want to divide that with the museum into the small scale. And looks like the village, but actually, this is a one-story museum following the landscape. And we also did use same material, same unit for the facade, the screen. This is a detail of the screen. So the ceramic tile is controlling natural light and the wind. And so one-story building, but following the landscape, and so like that. Going back to France, this is a station, Saint-Denis, the same idea. The volume is not small, but we want to divide the big volume into the small scale and bring nature into the building as possible. And material-wise, we are using wood for the station. The Alberca Museum is close from this building. The Alberca Museum has a beautiful Japanese gardens. So we, as a construction, started 3 months ago. So we, as a combine the wood for the building. And Chamonix, in Chamonix, so we designed the small office for the Italian company. The wood, the local wood, is always can connect the place and the building. And then to use local wood is important for us. And the last few projects is very experimental project. For sustainable lifestyle. Always I started from the small unit. In this case, the water polytank is a unit. This is for the MoMA exhibition, and this is a polytank we designed. And this polytank is working as a pipe for flowing water. And this is the exhibit in MoMA. And after that, we actually designed a small experimental house by using that small unit. This is for as an energy self-support system. The infrastructures is not needed for this system. So we have a heat collector here. The heated waters is going to the building, flowing in the wall and floor. And in the 20th century, always separation. Pipe system, structure system, the furniture, everything are divided, separated. But I want to bring back integration again. And our student made that building, made that pavilion. As a pipe system, as a unit are connected, and then it's covered. And this is interior. The bed, this is very small bed. This is kitchen, small kitchen. But the idea is one single unit that can make everything. It is similar to the system of human body. The one single cell can create anything. So any organs can be created basically one single cell. The model is body. And next step is always one achievement is a hint of the next project. This is a small tea house in Beijing. The structure is the tank. This polytank is supported this small tea house. This is not the montage. This is a real image. This is a Forbidden Palace. In front of Forbidden Palace, we did this building. This is a facade. But as a local government asked us to have the roof for the building, but it is okay because this is a historical area, and the Chinese government is very tough, and so I know. And this is a view from the building to the Forbidden Palace. And next is a experimental project, start from small unit. This is umbrella. The Casa de Tutto is the title of the exhibition in Milano Triennale. Casa de Tutto is but immediately found the solution. Casa means umbrella in Japanese. And the Casa de Tutto means umbrella house in Japanese. And then I decided to use umbrella for this pavilion. And if it's a kind of the refugee house, and if the one can carry the umbrella, so we can build refugee house with friends. And inspired by Buckminster Fuller's idea. The casa is very unique, and we can find the friends easily. And 15 friends can make the umbrella together, umbrella house together. The joint is a zipper system. This is interior. Structurally, the umbrella's frame is not as strong usually, but membrane, the fabric, is working as tension. And membrane is working as compression, and then it's a tensegrity system, also inspired by Buckminster Fuller, that is supporting this pavilion. And my student, so they wanted to stay night here, and they did a party here, and they stay night here. And the 15 umbrella is big enough for 15 people sleep in the place. And the fabric is, recently I love to use fabric. So it's a hint. The Chise is a house for Ainu people. Ainu people is an ethnic is living in Hokkaido, north area. They had a very unique cultures, but it's also almost disappeared. I like that as an Ainu house. The soft material is keeping air inside. The air is used for insulation. So this is my fabric house. The structure is wood, but the wooden structure is covered by the double fabric. Between the fabric, so we have the space for the circulation of air, and minus 30 degrees, the people can live in that house. And also, the Ainu people, the new energy storage. So they use the ground for the energy storage, and we did follow that system. I stay night on that day, minus 30 degrees, and I still here. Then only the fabric is enough for create the environment. There is a lesson from Ainu people. This kind of the fabric is also used for the portable house. It's a collaboration with a temple or temple. For that case, so we use the ETFE and the wooden sticks and a strong magnet. And the good thing for ET fabric is it can roll up, and 3 layers are tied together to create rigid wall. This is how to make the portable pavilion. As a strong fabric is strong enough for support the building. And besides those small pavilion, going to small, I did start this project after earthquake, East Japan products. So this is a favorite products. We worked with the craftsmen of up north area. So I invited some product designer from world. You know the Bourrec brothers from France. They designed this beautiful kokeshi. You know, kokeshi is very famous as a wooden doll of up north area. and they loved kokeshi, and also they said, the most beautiful attitude of Japanese is ojigi, bow like that. And then the kokeshi is can bow like Japanese. And so today, as I want to show the possibility of a small element, small unit, can change world, and that is the basis of my practice. Thank you very much.